All right, on to the fourth of 13 in this series. And now we're going to align objects, which is actually building upon the previous step which we had, which was the grouping function. So let's go ahead and go back to our template. I already have it open. As you can see here, we had grouped each one of these little people to be individual objects. So now we're going to work on alignment. And alignment is a cool tool that is available in PowerPoint, and you can do it to align and make your slides more professional, and also very much so important for your infographic. And I'm going to be employing the concept of alignment, which is from Design Principles of PARC. So one of the things that was presented at our infographics workshop is talking about alignment and vertical and horizontal lines that are invisible that really draw your eye. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create some lines for you. And easiest way, there is a function under view that you can see guidelines, but it can get confusing. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw some lines that I can delete later. So I'm going to click here and draw a line, and then I'm going to get at the top of one of my text because I want to align with that, and then hold down the shift key on my keyboard. And by holding down a shift key, as you can see as I get off, it doesn't matter. It will always make sure it's straight. So the shift key is a great way to make straight lines. Okay, so I've done that. And I'm going to go ahead and nudge that up a little bit. And a way to just nudge it a little bit is to hold down the control key on my keyboard, and then I can just nudge it. And as you can see now, I have that completely in line with the top of my text. So remember, in the previous step I showed you by clicking on a shape and then Control D will duplicate it, because Control D is for duplicate, and I can move this one down here, and I just want to nudge that as well. And so now I can align my stuff, but I also want to align vertically as well. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw some more lines. So that's under the shapes and the line. And what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and click up here, and then holding down that shift key, I can draw that straight line down. And then Control D, and I can have my other line here. So let's say I actually want to spread this out a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of these blue lines in a little bit. They're just here to give a framework for my alignment purposes. So as you can see, my head on this one is right there on the line, but it seems like each one goes down a little bit. And the other thing is this arm, the person's left arm, is right on the line on this case, but on the right hand side it's not. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on the top row and the right hand person, and I'm going to move him over just a little bit, and there's a reason why. So a great thing or option then that I have available in PowerPoint is I have him selected. And after I have him moved, I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete these guys. And you're thinking, why did you do that? You showed me in an early step how to essentially duplicate them and move them. But here's a really good way to. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I want to align so that they're spaced out evenly horizontally. So I'm going to click on guy 1, Control key, holding it down, and click on guy 2, Control key, keep holding it down this whole process, and click on guy 3. And then I have alignment options. They're also located under the Format tab, and you can see Align options here. I actually have a shortcut for the Align options. And so one of the things I want to do is I said I want to distribute these horizontally. So that way there's an equal distance in between each one. And the other thing I want to do in this case is I want to align with the top. And the reason I'm picking the top is because that very first one is, I can see it's the one closest to the line, and it's actually right on the line like I want. And then I can go ahead and select that. So now these three icons of people are equally spaced vertically, horizontally, and spaced out. So then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to hit Control D, And then I can move these little guys so that it's lined up the same way. And then I'm going to hit Control D, and this group now is lined up as well. But the thing is as you can see, the bottom of the people aren't lined up with that bottom line. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just nudge them down so they're lined up. But now they're not distributed equally vertically. So what I'm going to do is I have these three selected. I'm going to go ahead and group. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to these three. And I'm going to group these three. And then I'm going to click on the top row and group these. So now the thing I want to do is they have nice alignment along this line. They have nice alignment along this line, as well as the top and bottom, but it's not, like I said, not equal spaces in between group 1, 2, and 3. So I have group 1 now selected. Holding down the control key on the keyboard, I can select group 2. Holding down still, I can select group 3. And as you can see when I do that, how the overlap of the boxes is not equal. So that definitely tells whether or not. So I can go back to my alignment option and I can distribute vertically. And now as you can see, they're perfectly aligned in every direction and capacity that I wanted. So I can get rid of these lines. I'm going to go ahead and delete that line and click on each one and go ahead and delete. And now I have my little icons all lined up perfectly. Thanks, and that concludes the alignment section of this series.